I guess one would say that the Los Angeles Times, which is still the dominant part of the Times-Mirror company, is probably the single most important institution in the West. Times-Mirror is a very large company. Most people don't realize how large it is. For example, last year in the Fortune 500, we were 139th in sales, and we were 69th in net income of all the Fortune 500. Approximately $3 billion in sales, 30,000 people, 7 newspapers, 7 television stations, 5 book companies, 5 magazines, a large forest products company that involves production of lumber and newsprint. I think a media corporation probably has an unduly amount of impact, much greater than its size. In other words, if you took a steel or an automobile company that was maybe 4 or 5 times our size and tried to say that the president or CEO of that company locally and nationally wielded as much or more influence than a media company. And I think that would be probably untrue, because people look at a media company and they get sometimes a little frightened of what they sense is your power or your potential for power. But there's no question in the minds of many, many people, politicians, educators, people in all walks of life, that they look at a large company that owns television and newspapers and magazines and books, and they just kind of are astounded at the so-called opportunity that you have to either do good or evil. Well, Nixon is very close to the history of this company and this newspaper, because if anybody created Dick Nixon, my father did. And this newspaper supported Nixon for every office that he sought. And in the end, when he was defeated for the governorship of California, he turned on this newspaper and blamed it somehow for his defeat, which is incredible because, as I say, we had supported him for every office and had given him very fair coverage during the campaign, but he was bitter and tired. And Nixon, I think, would have gone down, if it weren't for Watergate, as probably one of the greatest presidents in modern history. President Reagan, of course, is known to us here particularly because of him being governor for 2 terms here, and for he and Nancy having been part of the entertainment community for years before that. So I guess we have a very special feeling, knowledge about Reagan. I think we're accountable basically to ourselves and our level of professionalism and ethics and morality. And I think we're accountable to the marketplace. If people don't believe or like what you say to them, either in print or electronics, they're going to change. They're going to flip the dial, or they're going to cancel your subscription. And I don't think any of us have a lock on our readers or our viewers. I think there are so many choices available that if people don't believe what you're saying to them or writing to them about, that they're going to make that choice and they're going to change. A newspaper like this, the Los Angeles Times, that in 2 years will have revenues of over $1 billion. And that's a sort of staggering number for me to think about, even though the parent company has been over that figure for many years, and we're over $3 billion this year. For just think of one newspaper bringing in $1 billion worth of revenues, and 9,000, 10,000 employees, 3 separate publishing centers. I think that it would be very rare to find a family member in each generation that would have the capacity and the interest and the motivation to work up to be publisher. I think we're really talking about, in future generations of these family-owned newspapers, bringing in more and more professional management.